Welcome back to another Sun and Moon Lost Thunder Gauntlet Tournament, presented by Magikarp here at Tabletop Village. Today we are going to be, it's just going to be me today, no Wancho, unfortunately. We're going to be featuring a matchup of the 7-seed Malamar spread versus Stage 2 box. Now, I am of the opinion that Malamar spread just kind of dominates all over Stage 2 box. Our buddy Caston aggressively argues that, saying that Stage 2 box should absolutely destroy Malamar spread. Now, I think he's thinking of a version with it where you play Kingdra GX, so maybe that's a different sort of thing. But Malamar spread should be able to rack up enough damage throughout spreading, obviously, and Tina and Coco and all this other stuff to have Lele be impactful, have one-shots be impactful, and have a lot of cards that just kind of can deal with a wide board. Stage 2 box kind of does have to go wide because you need the Chikorita Meganium out. You need to get Swampert out, and then you probably need to have an attacker. So at the very least, that's 3 things that are fairly decently needed. So even if you like rock a Solgaleo and heal some damage off, between all of the spreading and the Tina looping and everything else, that I don't think a Solgaleo is going to do it just straight up. So looking back on this matchup, there's probably a way that you could have gone a little bit more tanky, but we played it as the deck's intended. Stage 2 box is a very hard deck to pilot. The whole idea is that you're using Meganium's Quick Ripening Herb to get into Stage 2s and using a different Stage 2 for different attackers. So for this matchup, we got Elliot here. Starting off with a really good turn 1, getting 3 Inkays down and a Coco after a supporter and some discarding. But a Raw Elms will come in on the side of Stage 2 box. I'm the one piloting Stage 2 box in this first game here. Definitely going to be eyeing up a Chikorita. You want that early so you can get the Quick Ripening Herb. Looks to be a Vulpix as well to maybe get into the Ninetales to almost guarantee the turn 2. And it looks to be 2 Vulpix this game, so no Cosmog, no Dartor. Well, I do have, it looks like I do have a Rowlet in the hand here, a Rowlet and a Mudkip. So going wide initially, starting thinking about the Rowlet, maybe wanting to save some of that damage. If you don't bench the Rowlet here, you know that you're not going to get flying flipped on it, so it would save 20 damage. And yeah, just to pass back over, starting Porygon is not the greatest thing in the world. Elliot can kind of either dance around it or have it kind of sit there. You do have the initialize. Ooh, we see a Nest Ball for a Giratina. I think the conversation on the board was talking about that you could have Tina'd earlier in the game. You don't need the 3 Inkays. You could have searched for Tina and discarded it earlier. I think that's where the conversation was happening over the board. But regardless, I don't think Elliot's too concerned about just getting it and stuff. Like, the thing about Tina is that a lot of people want you want to get it from the discard pile, so you get the 20 extra damage spread on the bench. But honestly, if you're just looking to attack or attach to it and just get ready for it to swing, not a bad thing either. So, and we see Elliot's hand is wow, he's got a bunch of energies. He already has 1 Malamar, so he's going to get 2 Malamars and an attach. If he had gotten a way to get out of the active here, this Porygon could go down. Double Psychic Recharge plus an attachment means that Giratina can swing excuse me, for 130. But no, it looks like it will be an attach and retreat and a Coco Flip 20 to everything. There is a Routes top deck. We see an Ultra Ball. Looks like we're pitching an Acerola here. It's an interesting decision, knowing that you need to get out of the active somehow, some way. And here's a Ultra Ball, a Timer Ball and a Rare Candy. Playing the Timer Ball is going to grab at least 1 thing. You would expect to see the Meganium here, so you get the Quick Ripening Herb online. Part of the argument, I think, in my head was instead of grabbing the Acerola, I wanted to be able to attack, or not attack, but just get set up with everything else. And so a Cynthia to try to get into the Swampert was more of a decision than the Acerola. Yes, it would have been nice to beacon this turn, but I want to say, I think that leaning on the Solgaleo would have been better. Oh, and we got a quick Red Herb into the Swampert, so the Cynthia proving really good here, and a Nest Ball and a Cosmog. So you have this Solgaleo for next turn, and a Super Boost. The only real issue here is that Solgaleo actually doesn't one-shot Coco. Coco takes 20 less damage from Metal Pokemon. So it's an interesting situation because, yeah, if you had played the Acerola, you would have saved yourself 20 damage here. Or I would have saved 20 damage, and I would have been able to beacon. So likely might have been the correct play there, looking back on it. Because, you could have gotten the Swampert for next turn. You wouldn't have guaranteed the Swampert that turn. If your Vulpix goes down, it's kind of in a rough spot. I don't remember what else was in my hand, but maybe saving the Acerola to heal later would have been great. But Elliot just starts off with a cool Cynthia here. Looks like he's got some energies and some stuff to discard. Just kind of setting up all these spread things. He's got 3 Malamars online. He can start charging up this Giratina. Everything is going to be softened up on my side. That Meganium is one flip and a Giratina away from going down as well. So that's something to look out for in this matchup. But a lot of damage already on the board after 2 flying flips. It's going to be about 200 damage on the field. So yeah, triple psychic recharge to the Giratina, no attach from hand. And now there is 210 damage on my side of the field already. Thanks snapping up quickly. Coco really does that, puts on that pressure kind of early. I think I'm looking for a way to get out of the active and to get into this Cosmog. And knowing that I can't get a knockout here is pretty rough. So we're going to start with a draw. Ooh, and there's the Rowlet. And you got 1 heads off of this. Unfortunately, the Initialize actually doesn't get the knockout here. So it looks like I'm eyeballing up some rare candy shenanigans, some Ninetales shenanigans. So Ninetales would be the option. But what do you grab off this Ninetales? A way to switch out of the active. Maybe we don't even get the Ninetales. Let's see. What do we... Got a lot of different options here. The Porygon and the Vulpix both staying on the bench kind of clogs up your bench a little bit. You'd like to see... Like, this turn would be really nice if you could have gotten into an Acerola off that top deck. This hand is insane if you could have gotten off to an Acerola. Because you could have gone into Solgaleo, Acerola, grab the Feather Arrow on the Decidueye, took a knockout on the Coco, and had 2 clean GXs. But instead, yeah, we do see a Mysterious Guidance here. Trying to figure out what to grab. You can't really guarantee yourself anything. You can get one of the pieces. Maybe you get a Decidueye up this turn to start pinging down some stuff. But no, we're going to see a Nest Ball and a rare candy come in. The Nest Ball is going to grab maybe the Gardevoir. Maybe you're starting to charge the Gardevoir up. Oh, I'm saying I don't want rare candy. I want Rescue Stretcher. Okay. So we're going to see Rescue Stretcher is going to grab the Rowlet. So the Gardevoir is more of the option here. And so basically what this is saying now is I am going to get a Secret Spring. Yep, that's what the play is. So instead of trying to hit Acerola and switch out of the active, the way out of the active is going to be an attach from Secret Spring, a retreat into Gardevoir, and knockout. Off of a Shuffle Draw 6, grabbing energy. You really just want to get the spread stopped, right? This Gardevoir is going to be tanky. You can Acerola it at least once, maybe Prominence somewhere in the middle of the game. So you should be okay if you can hit a Fairy Energy here, and no, there was no Fairy Energy in that hand. So that 210 damage, not great. And the pass is going to be back over to Elliot here. Elliot's checking the discard pile here. Let's see what he grabs or what he chooses to do. He's got an Ultra Ball. Looks like he's going to be pitching that. Maybe Lilying up for some cards. There is also an argument this turn that you want to promo Lele. Use your 210 damage now. But the Ultra Ball is going to get rid of the Onyx and the Pokemon Retriever. Eyeballing Marshadow. I do have a big hand. I don't think you'd want to commit the bench spot too soon. That will just be a thinning fail here. The Flying Flip is also just fine. Maybe he was looking for a Lele or something to maybe grab Guzma to KO the Meganium. But instead, nope, it's just going to be a thinning Ultra Ball. Oh, he does have the Lele in his hand, though. So there is an argument that he might go into Lele now to take the Meganium. You're also kind of just fine flipping here, taking a knockout, spreading a bunch of damage, kind of conserving all this damage for the big Lele turn later. And yeah, it will just be a flip. Which, with the Shrine in play, is doing a bunch. But Return KO is on board. So it really will just come down to what kind of this medium mid-game turn is going to look like. I think you'd like to see maybe an Acerola to save some of the damage, and it's going to be another Swampert to dig for the second Acerola. And maybe even a Stadium Bump would be nice too. There's a Guzma. That's not really going to do a lot. Guzma here doesn't really help. No other energy except for the Rainbow Energy. And yeah, there's just going to be a Cynthia. Digging for an Acerola for later. This damage is starting to stack up. You don't have any other stadiums. I believe this stage 2 box only plays one stadium. So this Shrine is going to stick. You're setting show up for a Prominence next turn. So there is a Prominence GX in the hand. So you know you can get into that next turn if Elliot takes a knockout. Promotes the Giratina. I think he's maybe considering... We know he has the Guzma in hand. So maybe he's considering not promoting. I don't think he's top decked yet. Or maybe he has. The thing about the Tina having 3 energies on it is, yeah, he always started top deck. The Tina having 3 energies on it, you know that you can just retreat it and Psychic Recharge up to it. So it's essentially a free retreater, so you don't have to worry about the Guzma too much. So we're talking about numbers. 5 prizes is what Elliot needs. We know that he can take at least 1 this turn. Or take 1 GX knockout. He's got enough on board to take one of the Ninetales if he really wants to. He could also take the Meganium. He could also take the Gardevoir. So the Lele spread damage, he can kind of realistically knock out whatever he wants if he decides to use Lele to magical swap everything over to one of the Pokemon. And again, that Shrine Tick is going to be ever present. Stage 2 box being a turn late. Ooh, there is a Necrozma GX. Ooh, this is going to be absolutely massive. So the GX, the Black Ray, and yeah, this actually will be a double knockout here. Getting the Giratina down to spread 10 damage to 2 bench Pokemon, and you will be using Black Ray GX to do 100 damage to all of your opponent's GX Pokemon. So this will be a 100 damage to the Gardevoir, and then Shrine Ticks will knock out both Ninetales that are in play. Elliot goes down to 1 prize with enough to magical swap over. We need to see a Prominence GX this turn, or it will be game over. And we see 2 diving draws. And here comes the Solgaleo. And a double colorless energy on it. We might see a Guzma to stall. Yeah, we will see a Guzma on one of the Tinas to stall. And a Prominence GX will be the attack. Going back into Elliot's turn, having only 20 damage on board. But that might be enough for game here because we're going to see a triple acceleration and a Guzma to KO anything on the bench. You can take the Meganium for the last thing. Wow, 3 Elms and an Acerola prized. Kind of insane that I started the raw elms having 3 elms prized, but that second Acerola being prized, it didn't check that initially. Yeah, there's a second one. So even though I was digging for it, it wasn't going to matter. So Malamar spread up 1-0. And again, this matchup's kind of weird. You could, in theory, just go into one big hitter. The Solgaleo not being able to KO the Coco or KO the Giratina without a ping feels kind of bad. You really want the Meganium in play. You really want the Prominence Solgaleo in play. You really want the Quick Shooter in play. So with all that, that's 3 Pokemon minimum. Plus you want some consistency. The thing is, you against spread decks, you don't want to go wide. But with Stage 2 box, and into this matchup especially, you kind of have to go wide. It's really hard to keep everything nice and neat in the active. So, and Onyx start is never what you want to see. Oh, and there's another Raw Elms from the Stage 2 box. So Elliot starting off with a Raw Elms. You're going to want to find, most likely, at the very least, a Chikorita, maybe a Vulpix, so that you can get into the Alolan Ninetales for next turn. It looks like he's eyeballing up the Cosmog, so he can get into the Solgaleo if he needs a Prominence. Thinking about Rowlet. A lot of good options here. Like I said, you want a lot of different pieces, and you need a lot of different pieces to deal with Coco, because you don't really want to two-shot a Coco. It feels really bad to two-shot a Coco. You can always clean it up later with quick shooting, but again, like, you need the Solgaleo out, you need the quick shooting out, you need the quick ripening herb out, you need the diving draw out. Like, you need there's so much stuff that you need. Like, this board set right here, those are the 5 Pokemon that you kind of just need out to make this deck even function. You need the Mudkip, the Cosmog, the Vulpix, the Rowlet, and the Chikorita. All 5 of those things. So, like, while you really don't want to go wide, right now you kind of have to. So it will be an Ultra Ball for a Giratina and a Mysterious Treasure, getting rid of the Tina. So instead of opting for 2 Inkays, 1 Inkay and a Tina in the discard pile is the decision. And we're likely just to see this Cynthia come down. Attach for DCE. Oh, it's a Lily for 7, actually. So the DCE on the Onyx means that next turn you can do 120. It's very unlikely that you get knocked out. Oh, and 3 Inkays down anyway. You don't really care. And the Necrozma down is kind of interesting here because, oh, and the Shrine, yeah. Kind of forgetting that Shrine ticks your own things there. Definitely, this game, I saw my phone when I pulled it out earlier. This game was filmed at 1 o'clock in the morning. Whoopsies. Big whoopsies. I think we get the Shrine tick damage correct, though. But basically, the Necrozma down is so that, I actually cannot defend that decision. All right, grabbing a 4th dice for this double Timer Ball flips. We were discussing it, and he was like, "Oh, actually, no, I should flip 1 at a time, because if I get heads, it'll change my decision." So let's see, Timer Ball, double tails. He's got a second one though. He's fine, right? Double tails again. Double tails again. That is 2 Timer Balls, double tails. The odds of that are insanely low. I think it's like something like, what, 17%? Yeah, with the look into the camera. Right, because double tails is 25, double tails is 25, but it's like, so like not getting 1 heads at the very, very least. I think is that 17% or like 12% actually. It's right around 12% chance that you get no heads on 4 coin flips. So, and yeah, we will see the another double colorless energy come down. An Acrobike is going to pitch an Ultra Ball. An Acrobike is going to pitch a Psychic Energy. You're starting to Psychic Recharge to this Necrozma. And you got, you're really just setting up for a Black Ray. Like I said, I think we get the Shrine Tick damage on the Necrozma eventually. I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's not going to matter very much. But, ooh, we do have we at least have a, not even a Revenge KO, but a Revenge Attack coming out. Going to be able to do 70 damage and 30 snipes, so maybe you can set up one of these Inkays. Or at the very least, soften up a Necrozma. The counter game being attached to the Ninetales means that you're going to do 70-30. And we do not see a Meganium or a way to get into Meganium. Elliot considering a rare candy into the Rowlet, but feels really bad to not see a Meganium. You would have had a Meganium if Quad Tails hadn't been flipped on Timer Ball. This might have been a much closer game. But Nestball is going to find a Vulpix, saying there's absolutely no way you knock out Chikorita. Maybe that's what the conversation is about. Yeah, the conversation is about, do you think I can knock out your Chikorita? When you're in the Meganium, you feel a lot more safe. When you're not in the Meganium, you're like, do you get a second Chikorita? Because it feels bad it feels bad either way. If you get 2 Chikoritas down, it's clogging up your bench. If you only get 1 Chikorita down, you're in trouble for a Guzma. And so there is a evolve of the one he was trying to snipe. We have plenty of psychic energy. We have 1 psychic energy in the discard. And there's a DCE plus a Guzma maybe. Yeah, the Guzma's in hand. Saving the Onix, and it's going to take that Chikorita that we talked about. Now there's going to be no quick ripening herb in play. Going to be able to knock it out for 70. Yeah, now I'm pointing at it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should be 4. I think I was one tick off. Again, I don't think the math is going to matter much. We definitely missed it this game, but that's all right. Again, 1 o'clock in the morning. What are you going to do? But unless Elliot has a way to get into Chikorita or anything else, this is not going to... I like how we were like, yeah, we got the math right on the Ninetales. But, yeah, see, that's what all the pointing and conversation is about there. That looked kind of funny. Is about trying to get the math correct. We got the math right on the Ninetales, but definitely not on the Necrozma. That should have 20 more damage on it. Yeah, but with no Chikorita and no Meganium out, Elliot's in a world of hurt. Like I said, it's a weird situation. If you get 2 Chikorita down, it clogs your bench up. But if you only get 1, it gets Guzma and KO'd. So, and he looks like he was gripping to the Meganium, but now this is just going to be an attack. 30 damage snipe to the Onix, it looks like. Or nope. Yeah, it will be to the Onix. Maybe you can set up some math and take 2 prizes next turn. And that's I think that might be the conversation here. So I'm gonna Mysterious Treasure. Maybe you grab another Malamar. Maybe you grab another Teeners in the discard pile, so you're fine there. You might just fail this Mysterious Treasure. There's no reason why you don't grab the Malamar, right? Yeah, so a Malamar you grab. Board state is an Necrozma in the active. 3 Malamars and an Onix. It's not what you really expect to see from Malamar spread, but, you know, here we are. You know that Elliot only really has a Cosmog, a Rowlet, a Vulpix, and a Ninetales. It's really not that great of a board state. Looks like we're discussing damage onto... Oh, yeah, we're going to see a Giratina come down here. 10 damage is likely going to go onto at least the Cosmog. And the Rowlet. 3 energies on there. And an attach retreat. Going to swing for 130, 140. Puts you to 190, so it's an Acerola away from being taken off the field. But if you don't get that Acerola or you bump the Shrine, you can get KO'd coming back into the turn. Elliot's checking for something. He's not happy. Not seeing much of anything going on here. Lots of Pokemon in that hand. We see a rare candy. This might be the... Oh, we do see a Ninetales at the very least. So maybe be able to go into a Prominence this turn. If he has an attachment, you could see a Prominence. A rare candy Ultra Ball gets you into the Solgaleo. So at the very least, you save this Ninetales. Or maybe not. He's thinking rather hard here. What do you grab? We have the second Ninetales hitting the board. You want to either bounce the shrine or at the very least heal. I think at one point he was like, I'm going to fail this. And we were like, no. No, you do not fail this. You at least grab something. A rescue stretcher would be nice. We see the promo rescue stretcher there to grab Chikorita, or maybe he's just going to nest ball for the second Chikorita that we know is in his deck. So it will be Nest Ball, Ultra Ball from the Ninetales. Grabbing 2 item cards from the deck. Going to go ahead and Nest Ball, likely to grab the Chikorita. And we'll see what the rest of the turn plays out. We know we grabbed an Ultra Ball. And he's been gripping that rare candy for a while here. There is a path to victory, though. This Necrozma going down is would be one path. That's 2. 3 prizes from the Onix. That's 3 total. And some of these Malamars are looking kind of weak right now. And so yeah, it will be for the Necrozma. So Shrine Tick happens. And I think there is a road to victory for the Stage 2 box here. There is the prizes that you need on the board. We'll see what happens this turn. There's an Ultra Ball down. Likely just a thin since you can't play anything you grab with the Ultra Ball. Bench is full and nothing to evolve. So it might just be a throwing down of a Cynthia here. Yep, that's what it's going to be. A Guzma there would have been nice, but the thing is you're going to take 1 prize this turn. If you can help not attacking with the Giratina and putting 40 more damage on yourself, there is a path to victory. There's the Guzma in hand. The Guzma in hand is really big because next turn you can take something that can't evolve or deal much. And yeah, it's going to be a retreat into the Onix, triple accelerate back up to the Giratina, and the Onix will swing for a knockout, going down to 1 prize left. This energy attachment is going to be interesting. Maybe attached to the Malamar for pivot. And yeah, the Necrozma would have gone down a turn earlier. But it's going to die to Shrine Ticks anyway. So if the 20 damage had been on there, this Necrozma would have gotten KO'd, which actually probably would have been, it really wouldn't have mattered either way because he would have taken the 2 prizes a turn early. Maybe you get something that you needed out of the prize cards. Who knows? But here's a rare candy up into the Meganium. So we finally got Quick Ripening Herb online. Looks like you're going to be spending the Quick Ripening Herb to go into the Solgaleo if you can. You would also like to have that on... yep, there's the Quick Shooting. If you can get a rare candy Solgaleo here, there's a lot of stuff that... Yeah, and the Porygon is also an interesting little option here, because then you don't need as much damage on the Malamars. There is a path to victory on board. I do see 6 prizes for Elliot to take. I think you're just going to be a little bit too late. So showing this matchup is actually closer than we thought. Game 1 was not it. Yeah, see, here's us talking about the prizes there. If you take a Quick Shooting onto the Malamar, you do 30 to the other Malamar, and the Tina gets attacked into, between the Shrine Tick and the other ping onto the Onix, you have a shot at this. But there's a DCE to the Meganium, and I'm showing him Rescue Stretcher Boss, and that's going to do it for game, because even if you ping the Onix, you bring up the Giratina, retreat, load up a Necrozma that you get from the Rescue Stretcher and blow something up. So, yeah, we see spread Malamar. Moving on to the tournament. Stay tuned for more Sun and Moon Lost Thunder content, guys. This tournament's going well. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Hope you guys are as well.